Good evening, everyone. I'm Riley King, and welcome to the Riley King Newscast, right here on the Riley King Network. We have a lot of news this evening, so let's begin and let's get started. First up, vehicle involved in crash, then hits apartment building. 5 injured. Collision caused significant damage to building on Massabesic Street in Manchester. Let's take a look at some video footage from that scene. And here is the video footage from that scene.
Strict attention to detail. That's what sets Kubota construction equipment apart. It's how we maximize.
Okay, that was video footage from that scene as you saw. An apartment building was evacuated and several ambulances were called after a vehicle involved in a crash later struck a building in Manchester. The crash happened about 12:15 p.m. Thursday near the entrance to Elliott Hospital on Terrytown Road. Officials said a car T-boned an SUV, which then continued down Terrytown Road before slamming into a 3-story apartment building, causing significant damage to the structure. According to Manchester fire officials, 5 people were transported to Elliott Hospital. They said a pregnant woman suffered a serious injury to her leg, while other victims have minor injuries. Officials said the pregnant woman and man were trapped in the SUV and had to be extracted from the vehicle. Officials said the cause of the crash into the building appears to be accidental. It's believed the gas pedal somehow got stuck. The area around the crash scene was temporarily closed. Roads near the scene reopened around 3:15 p.m. And here is some photos from that scene, as you can see. Here are some photos, as you see right here. School resource officers trained on latest online risk for children. Internet Crimes Against Children Task Force tries to keep officers ahead of technology. Let's take a listen to that video from WMUR News 9, Ray Brewer.
Customers will call in or email in and just tell us that I was at the store, and from the beginning of the sale till the delivery, it was a great experience. And as a business owner, that's what we strive for.
Visit us at powellstone.com.
School resource officers, or SROs, from around the state gathered in Epping to try and stay ahead of the curve when it comes to keeping students safe in today's cyber world. The training session aimed at alerting the officers to the latest trends.
Technology is a big part of their world now, and so having the ability to talk about that platform with the kids will be just another great thing that they can do.
The commander of the Internet Crimes Against Children Task Force says some things are occurring almost daily.
One juvenile sends out an inappropriate image to another juvenile, and before you know it, it's widespread across the school.
It's one of the things that Officer Jacqueline Pelletier comes across in her job as an SRO at Goffstown High School.
The inappropriate pictures, the bullying, really exposing each other, and really just being mean to one another. I try to teach them that once you put it out there, you really can't take it back. Once it's out there on the internet for someone to see, there's not a whole lot I can do to take that damage away from them.
Experts say they are dealing with the same problems at middle schools, and the proliferation of online gaming presents another opportunity for predators to try and make contact with the students. The message for parents?
It's just really important that you know that you can set filters and settings on your child's gaming device that will prevent them from talking to people outside of their area.
This training session was the first of its kind, but organizers say they'd like to hold another one in the northern part of the state. In Epping, Ray Brewer, WMUR News 9.
Okay, and there you go on that video and that report. Manchester officials to ask state senate to review bail reform law. Police say new law allows too many people to go free. Let's take a listen to that video from WMUR News 9, Andy Hirschberger.
Chapel Tractor has been in our family since 1955, when great-grandfather Pearlie and our grandfather George did.
Manchester's Board of Mayor and Aldermen will be asking state senators to take a second look at a controversial bail reform law. The issue came up today at the Manchester Police Commissioners meeting, where Chief Carlo Capano, a vocal opponent of the statute, says something needs to change.
And enough is enough. We have to actually start looking into this process in the bail reform and peel it back and start looking at how we can change these to keep our community safe. Because right now, with what is going on, all they're doing is they're making our communities potentially unsafe.
The law went into effect about a year ago. Supporters say the intent was to eliminate a sort of poor man's prison, where people with little or no money would be held in jail simply because they couldn't afford even the smallest amount of bail to get out while they await trial. One of the architects of the law is Buzz Schur, who says those who are against it don't fully understand it.
And the proponents of the bail reform bill are more than willing to sit down with people who want to talk rationally about it and don't want to talk in apocalyptic terms. We got to get these homeless people off the street.
But Manchester police point to the case of William Gamble, who has more than 100 police contacts in 10 years. Authorities say Gamble, who was released on personal recognizance bail after a drug arrest in August, was then arrested again last month for another drug offense and released again after just a few hours in jail.
If someone's released on PR and if they commit another offense, they need to be incarcerated. And if someone can't afford bail, stay out of trouble.
Alderman Bill Berry said that he hopes to get that letter off to the state Senate sometime today. Reporting live in Manchester, I'm Andy Hirschberger, WMUR News 9.
Okay, and there you go on that video and that report. New Hampshire unsolved case file. Who killed Paul Hurley? Let's take a look at this video from WMUR News 9. Killing of man found dead in his Milford home in 2003 remains unsolved.
We're here today to tell you good folks about Cozy Cabin Rustics Furniture and Mattress Bargain Barn. We carry all types of furniture, including American-made Adirondack and real logs, hardwoods, and reclaimed barn boards to build our quality furniture.
Now at 3 convenient locations. Yep.
Okay, and there you go on that video. Scarecrows, pumpkin people on display across New Hampshire to kick off autumn. Annual autumn tradition visible in communities across the state. Take a look at these two photos right here. Some familiar fall scenes are returning to the Granite State. Scarecrows and pumpkin people are beginning to be put up on display again to kick off the autumn season as part of the growing tradition in the state. Hundreds of autumn decorations can be seen along the sides of roads, rail trails, farms, and graveyards. Communities featuring scarecrows and pumpkin people, including Chester, Enfield, Jackson, New Loudon, Nottingham, and Plainfield, among other towns. Have you spotted any in your town, or do you have one on display outside your home? Share a photo with us on the Riley King Network Facebook page, or you can email us at rileyking12@gmail.com. And now let's take a look at your U.S. stock market and see how your U.S. stock market closed for this Thursday evening. And here's a look at that U.S. stock market for all of you. Your Dow Jones Industrial Average closed in the green and went up. Your Nasdaq closed in the green and went up. S&P 500 closed in the green and went up. Gold closed in the green and went up. Oil closed in the red and went down. US 10-year closed in the red and went down. Euro/USD closed in the green and went up. And VAX closed in the red and went down. Stocks rise, rebounding from steep two-day sell-off. Stocks rose on Thursday, recovering some of the losses from a steep two-day sell-off, aimed increasing expectations that the Federal Reserve will cut rates later this month. Officials. Administrator kills 4 officers in knife attack at Paris police headquarters. An administrator armed with a knife attacked officers inside Paris police headquarters Thursday, killing at least 4 before he was fatally shot, officials said. And that does it for my evening edition of the Riley King Newscast right here on the Riley King Network. I hope you all have a great rest of your evening, and I'll see you back here tomorrow for another newscast. And I'll have a news report coming up in a little bit. Good night and bye, everyone.